I mean, how fucking dumb do you have to be to get
Honestly,
mad at that?
bro.
Like, yeah.
That's like getting mad at the guy working at the cow death camp. That's getting mad at him for killing cows.
It's like, bitch.
It's like, bitch,
I
he
work
kills
here.
cows.
And the excuse, like, if I wasn't doing it, someone else would, isn't it's like, no, he's right. If he quits, they'll just hire another cow killer. Like, there's
it's not a hard job.
Yeah.
You kill the cow.
Yeah, it's that fucking, that thing from No Country, the fucking...
Yeah,
the horrifying...
The air gun.
The
with,
air
like,
gun.
The horrible metal.
It's just like a just fucking book. Like,
stand still, please.
Yeah. Could you stand still for me, please?
Can we talk about how that's the greatest movie?
Yeah, fuck it. We discussed Hunting. It's good. Shut up about it.
Yeah,
okay,
shut up about Hunting.
Yeah, 8 minutes in, boom, we're done with Hunting. No Country for Old Men is like the greatest fucking movie ever. Like,
bro, the fact. Alright, couple things to note if you've never seen No Country for Old Men. See it.
Yeah, go see it.
Stop watching this podcast. Watch that movie first. Then you can appreciate what we're about to say.
Yeah.
The villain is one of the best villains I've ever seen in a movie.
One of the greatest psychopaths I've ever seen. This is all spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah, everything we're about to say is spoilers for this movie.
Yes, so literally stop if you want to see it. Unless you're like,
and
I'm never going
trust
to
me,
see that.
you want to see it.
You
okay?
want to
don't
see
be
it.
like, oh, I'll never see that. If you watch it and you don't think it's good, you aren't the fan.
Yeah, and it's not even like a niche thing. It's not even like a niche movie that only some people...
No, it's a popular movie.
It's a widespread... Everyone who watches this will have something to enjoy in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, the fucking scene, the psychopath... The first scene where he just walks up behind the guy on the phone and he hangs up and then he fucking...
Yeah, that is awesome,
His
bro.
face, the scratching, he's kicking and he's scratching up the floor.
Yeah,
like,
bro, the floor...
Yeah.
The fact that the floor is fucked up after he does that,
Yeah.
it's so realistic.
Oh.
And another thing that adds to all of this, there's no music the whole movie.
Yep.
It's just the actual sound.
No soundtrack. It's just the scenes and the silent, and it's amazing.
It's incredible because of it. If that movie had music in every scene, it wouldn't be that good.
It honestly, it would feel more like a normal movie. It's a very non-traditional movie structure.
Yeah.
In an excellent way. Like, if you know, like, okay, like, main character dies off screen, the main character is... Llewellyn. And he's like the hero of the story, obviously. And the whole movie, well, we should discuss that the whole movie goes against the traditional Christian good-bad morality structure, which is like the good guy always wins and the bad guy always gets his comeuppance.
Yeah,
it's so predictable in every movie. You know why that is? It's in like the 50s and the 40s. They
said.
TV was just coming out. This is good for the podcast though. TV was just coming out and literally the church came in and they were like, okay, we're setting up rules. You can't glorify crime or sin, right? So if you show a drug dealer or a fucking, a criminal, a bank heist or something, that person always gets their comeuppance because you can't show a bad guy being cool and then just getting away with it. They were like, no, that's glorifying bad shit, even though that happens in the time all the time.
That's sin, boy.
That's sin. You're glorifying Satan.
You're on Satan's side.
Yeah, so they basically made it so that all TV followed this weird structure, and then that, like, literally, it held on. That's not the rules anymore, but generally that's still how everything works. Even if your hero is a bad guy, it still follows the rules of what the hero does. So, like, you know what I mean?
He's still doing hero shit.
Yeah, you never see, like, it never happens where, like, in fucking Endgame, if they had failed, they would never fail. You know that they won't fail. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I liked in Infinity War when they lost. It actually was refreshing to see. And then I was like, oh, I know that they're going to go back. They're going to do a go-backsies in the next movie because they're bitches. And I wasn't surprised that they discovered time travel when I watched it. I was like, of course they did. How else would they fix this problem? This is the easiest answer to this solution.
And they kept trying to be like, oh no, it's real. It's real, everyone. We did it. They're all dead. Like, they kept trying to put out shit where articles were like, oh, did they really lose? And everyone would be like, oh, maybe they really lost, And I was just saying the whole time, not for 1 second did I ever
and also
consider...
they fucking buried the lead.
Yeah.
Because all the actors stayed hired.
Yeah. Of course they did, because of course they won, because that's how movies go. It's the most predictable thing ever, and No Country for Old Men goes against it. And I wish more films would do this. Like, I think...
Yeah, I want a diversity of movie plots.
Yeah.
And I like, as well to that good bad, there's like those two scenes with the Vietnam.
Yep.
where one guy doesn't, Llewellyn doesn't give a fuck
Yep.
about the fact that you served in
Yeah.
Vietnam.
What does that make us, buddies?
Yeah, exactly, right? But then he goes to the thing and he's like, the checkpoint on the bridge or something. It's like a security
It's
guard.
the way he's letting him back into America from Mexico.
Exactly,
And the scene is that he's like, who do you think decides who gets to enter America? I reckon you do, sir. That's correct.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he does this whole scene and he's like, oh, do you serve? You know, and you don't know whether or not he's gonna say yes to him, but in the end he's like, get this man some help. Like he's like, yeah, he served in Vietnam, we're letting him in. Even though he's like bloody and
he's
half naked. Like yeah.
Because it was like, and that as well, it's trying to show that, like, people's values are kind of arbitrary.
Yep, and it doesn't, either can apply. It's not like some overarching moral rule of the universe.
Yeah, no,
like,
it just is.
It just is that some people feel that way and some people don't.
Yeah,
and
the movie doesn't try and convince you of any right or wrong. It's just showing.
Exactly, it's just showing what happened, and it's all it's all believable. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other great example of that is, so Llewellyn... Toilet paper. So Llewellyn's all fucked up, right? And he meets those guys, and he's like, I'll give you $500 for that jacket.
Yeah.
Right? And the kids are shitty to him. They're like, show me the money, and then he asks for the beer, and then they're like, oh, how much? You know what I mean? Like, the kids are shitty to him.
And one of the guys tries to defend him. He's like, oh, come on, man. Just give him the drink.
The last line that you see in that scene is that one of them is like, just give him the fucking beer, right? But they still, instead of just giving this guy the jacket, like, and a beer, because he's obviously, and he said...
he's fucked up.
He said he was in a car crash, right? And they were like, oh, he was in a car crash. And then the bad guy gets in a car crash at the end. A fucked up car crash, and his bone is coming out of his fucking arm and everything. And then he meets kids who are really nice to him, and they perfectly take care of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he leaves, and he lives, and everything's fine for the bad guy. Meanwhile, the good guy just gets shot, and people are shit to him. Like,
well, that's because you can't kill Anton Chigurh.
He's unkillable.
Yeah.
The man is a machine.
I loved his psychopathy. Like, when he was injured and fucked up, and he sneaks into the canvas, and he's like pulling off. Like, no one notices that he's bleeding. Because he's like, he's perfectly fine.
He just looks
facial
so
expression is normal.
Casual. He looks so normal.
Yeah.
You just don't look at him. There's a lot of fucking great scenes with Anton. One of the first scenes you see where he goes to the gas station and there's the old man and he does the whole coin flipping thing, you know, and he just, y'all getting any rain up your way? What business is it of yours? Which way I am from?
And he's like,
I didn't mean nothing by it. Yes, you did. He has this whole crazy tension building where the guy's doing nothing and Anton is being like impossible and terrifying. Like, but from Anton's perspective, I think
he's just talking.
That's all logical from Anton's perspective. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he doesn't understand why that guy doesn't understand what he means.
You know, we never see a full explanation of Anton's beliefs, though. It's possible he's just a crazy guy. Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, the coin thing is telling of his beliefs.
Yes, a bit. So he, you know...
I would say that might make him a little bit, like, nihilistic. Leaving things to an actual coin flip.
Yeah.
Like, whether or not he'll kill you or not, he'll leave to a coin flip.
Well, and he says a few lines there that are telling, like, he flips the coin and he's like, I ain't gonna bet unless I know what I'm putting up. And then he's like, you have put everything up. And he's like, you know, fucking, I didn't put anything up. And he's like, you've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it.
Yeah.
And he means, like, every day you could die, I think.
Yeah,
like,
I think he's saying, like, you have been alive every day with the chance of not being that.
Yep.
You know, like,
yep.
Every single day, well, every second of your life, you are
putting
obviously putting up the fact that you are alive. It's a thing that can be taken away from you by default.
Yeah.
There's no barrier to that. So I think that is a philosophy he has.
And he doesn't respect that guy either. He married into his small corner shop, which is fine. But Anton is like, you fucking waste of life. Like,
yeah.
Like, I think he has some deep philosophy about what people should be thinking and doing with their time. And
he needs Buddhism.
And he thinks like everyone else is like a fucking idiot. Like, yeah. He does need Buddhism. Don't we all? Doesn't every character in every media show ever need Buddhism?